Hello students, welcome to my channel. Here we go about the chapter 4, which is we are discussing about the Mughal Empire of how this Mughal Empire in fact established their Mughal Empire, and then the first and second ruler, how they had to encounter the different like challenges of the belonging to this countries, territories and kingdoms. So we have already read about it. So today in this second part of this chapter, or rather we can call it like a third part of this chapter, we will be talking about the person called Sher Khan. So Sher Shah Suri, how this Suri dynasty in fact actually ruled, and once he defeated this Humayun, and how this Humayun was exiled for some time and then had gone to a faraway country, and then in his absence this Sher Shah Suri, in fact how he has ruled in India, that is actually we will be talking about. So let us know now how this rule will be talking about. Okay, so let us know about the Sher Shah Suri. Now Sher Shah Suri was the son of the like a small landholder in Sasaram, that is in Bihar, you must remember, and his original name was actually Farid Khan. So Sher Shah Suri's his original name is Farid Khan, and it is believed that he was actually given the name of Sher Khan after killing a tiger in a single-handedly. So that's why his name was given to Sher Khan. Okay, so Sher Khan was actually an ambitious person, and then he joined Mughal army when Babur actually came to India. So he was a part of the ruler in fact at that time. So there he actually learned all the strategies of Mughal warfare. It means remaining with Babur, in fact he learned so many tricks and all. And after the death of Babur, he turned the political instability to his favor and extended control over Bihar and Bengal. So Bihar and Bengal is a very large state of that time, and this is the actually the area where a big business is regularly was taking place, and the channel which was had in this two states actually what called like a part of the like a China, part of the Greece, and part of the different like this countries actually associated with this area. So therefore it was a big business trade centers. Okay, so here what happened here, defeating Humayun in the battle of Kannauj in fact, and establishing the second Afghan rule in India, he continued to annex many more regions, and including like Malwa, Gwalior, then Rajputana. Then again you can find there are many of the like small territories where actually came under him. And this Sher Shah Suri 1545 in fact he died in an accident, gunpowder explosion while besieging the fort of like a Kalinjar, and he was actually buried at Sasaram. So we have to remember in Bihar, Sasaram is in Bihar, which you are seeing in the small image of the in the book. Here the person was actually buried. So now let us know about him. See, so within a short span of his rule, in fact, what he has done, Sher Shah not only expanded his territory during his empire, so but he also consolidated his power. We can remember that during his time, in fact, when he was when he became the ruler, in fact, he didn't go for much fighting, and he didn't do much going and expanding the territories. Okay, that is what we have said. So now when we didn't see him, so what he actually focused for mostly. So here his greatest achievements came neither as a general and nor as a conqueror, rather he is remembered as an excellent administrator. So as long as he ruled, he actually put everything in order by his whatever the things he learned. So here he was actually an excellent administrator, how to run, how to look after the kingdom, and what are the businesses, what are the trades, what are the people needed to keep, those things he focused for more. So therefore he is known to have the built network of roads, that is Sada-ki-Azam, you must remember, which actually is known now as the Grand Trunk Road. Great Trunk Road is actually built of that time in fact. So that is actually he built. Then you can see that he also actually issued new coins. Now this is very common that whoever is coming into power, in their name some coin is actually used, and in the coin in fact either you will see their images or maybe some writings will be there, maybe some sort of like Quranic writings or maybe some statement. So like that is there. So the coin was actually introduced, and after coin he introduced, which is known as the dam. And then the rupaya continued to be the standard currency throughout the span of the Mughal Empire. It may say even after death of this Sher Shah, that particular rupaya in fact continued, and it may say even the other rulers actually accepted that one to have. Then one of the greatest achievements of Sher Shah was his revenue system. So this revenue system actually he gave the importance, and he actually introduced a number of reforms in a tax determination and collection in fact, and a system of like a land assessment was actually set up. And then again all cultivable lands were actually measured and categorized into good, average, and poor on the basis of infertility or fertility. So one third of the produce was actually fixed as the rate of revenue. One third, remember. So the peasants could pay the taxes either in a cash or in a kind. So the system of tax collection was very strict, while the assessment was actually lenient. Okay, and then during this famines or floods, Sher Shah actually exempted the peasants from paying taxes, and loans were extended to them. It may say if they are unable to pay for this year, then their taxes were actually excused, forgiven them, and then he was given them the chances to pay them in the next. Okay, so that is actually he did. So these are the things actually we find with regard to Sher Shah Suri. So next we have got, after this Sher Shah Suri actually died, the Humayun died. Then as Humayun died in 1556, the Akbar, Akbar was only at the time only 13 years old, and when he ascended the Mughal throne, so it was not a age for the ruling the kingdom, but then he ruled the Mughal Empire under the guidance of his Mughal Empire. So that is Bairam Khan. So you must remember Bairam Khan. So this Bairam Khan, in fact, all through his life, in fact, he guided Akbar up to his growth. So here Akbar's coronation in fact took place in Kalanur, that is in Punjab, in 1556. Okay, 1556, for the next 4 years, and he remained a titular emperor. Then while Bairam Khan actually continued to expand the empire and consolidate Mughal Empire. So Akbar was at home. He was actually trained. He was given the different instructions by the different tuition teachers, and then he learned so many things during that time. But Bairam Khan, in fact, he kept on taking the step for the expanding the territories with the different kingdoms in India and as well as the out of India. So here what happens, the initial years of Akbar's rule was actually fraught and challenges, since he was just a new person. So the Afghans organized themselves under Adil Shah and the nephew of Sher Shah, who actually wanted to re-establish Afghan rule in India, especially in Delhi. And the Rajputs regained their powers since their defeat to Babur, and became a threat to the authority of the Mughals. So therefore you see, Akbar's half-brother Mirza Hakim declared himself independent in Kabul. Now you must remember that in their own family members, even they want the independent kingdom, and they want to be free from everyone else. So that's why they didn't want to be under this Mughal Empire. So they want to be free. So that's why you can see many kingdoms in fact started uprising, and many of them started preparing themselves for battle. And then that's why when Akbar started growing, then he found that many challenges in fact in his life. So that's why you can find taking advantage of the unstable state of the Mughal Empire, in 1556, Hemu, the chief minister of Adil Shah, captured Delhi and declared himself emperor. But Delhi and then after that, what happened, though the Afghans had a much larger army than the Mughals, Bairam Khan actually decided to face the challenge, and 30 years after Babur had defeated Ibrahim Lodi, another historic battle was actually fought, okay, at Panipat, okay, and then Hemu was actually defeated and killed in the second battle of Panipat, because as long as you keep them alive, then they may again charge you, again they may attack you. That's why especially Bairam Khan, he realized that better to complete everything, so that's why he killed in the battleground. And then Hemu was actually defeated and killed. Then after that, the Afghan threat to Akbar's throne was actually permanently actually removed. It may say now no more Afghan ruler will be coming up, because the main route was actually destroyed. So the main source to reconstruct the era of Akbar's rule include the chronicles of Abul Fazl. So we must remember Abul Fazl, a person who is explaining about Akbar's rule and everything else, whatever the achievements Akbar did, whatever the battle, whatever the expedition, and whatever the annexation has been taken place, every bit of things is you will find in the account of this Abul Fazl. So Abul Fazl actually wrote the Akbarnama, the official account of Akbar's reign. Okay, and then here Akbar's ancestry, you can see there the Akbarnama is divided into 3 volumes, and the first volume deals with the Akbar's ancestry, while the second volume deals with the important events taking place during Akbar's reign, and then a third one, Ain-e-Akbari, offers details about the administrative structure during Akbar's reign. So it also gives us actually details of the different policies incorporated by Akbar, and a more critical view of Akbar's reign can be found in a Muntakhab with Tawariq that was actually written by Baduni. So here you can find also some critical writings are there, which is giving the more actually details about Akbar. Okay, then we have got territorial expansion under Akbar. Which are the territories actually came under Akbar? So see, Akbar actually wanted to bring entire India under Mughal control, and soon after assuming absolute control of the empire, he embarked on a policy of conquest. Now, when you see that central India especially, in 1561 actually what happened, the Mughal force actually launched an attack on Malwa. And then Baz Bahadur, you must remember, Baz Bahadur, the ruler of the Malwa, fled his kingdom, and the territory was actually annexed to the Mughal empire. And Baz Bahadur was actually later offered a position in the Mughal court. It may say during Akbar time, whoever is accepting the this what called alliance of this Akbar, then he is giving them the space in the Mughal court, so that they will be happy. It may say he didn't want to create the enmity. So 3 years later, Akbar sent an expedition to Gondwana. You must remember Gondwana. So Queen here Durgavati was the ruling class. So what happened with this one? Here Durgavati, who was actually ruling the state as the regent of his her son, offered a tough resistance. Actually, they had the fighting battle, and then however she was defeated in fact in this battle, and the kingdom was actually annexed to Akbar's empire. And in 1572, Akbar conquered Gujarat and was an important center of trade and commerce. So Gujarat, of course, we know that it is a very very good for the trade and business now. Okay, next we have got Rajputana. What is Rajputana? His political wisdom and foresight made Akbar realize that the presence of the Rajput power near Delhi would be a constant threat to Mughal empire. So on the other hand, establishing a friendly relationship with them would help the Mughals consolidate and expand their control. So therefore Akbar tried to win the support of the Rajputs in many ways. So what are the steps he has taken? The Rajput leaders especially were actually offered important posts in the administration and a military system of the Mughals. It means a Mughal, especially Akbar, actually he accepted them and called them in his court, and then he gave them the space, gave them the opportunity to be a leader, to be a ruler in the Akbar's court, and he didn't want to create the enmity. So with Rajput he actually created this kind of things and all. So Akbar entered into matrimonial alliances with more than one Rajput rulers. So he married to most of the daughter of this Rajput, and then you can see that how many wives actually he had. So here Bharmal, the king of Amer, whose daughter Akbar actually married, became a strong ally of the Mughals. Then again, Akbar let most Rajput kings retain control over their kingdoms in return for reorganizing the supremacy of the Mughal Empire. And he did not actually interfere with their internal administration. Again, you can find, so these measures actually not only resolved the long drawn Mughal Rajput rivalry, but also integrated the Rajputs into the Mughal system. And then Rajputs who became allies of Akbar took active part in the expansion and consolidation of his kingdom or his empire. So therefore you can see that how Akbar actually applied the policy of making them alliance, making them friendly, and giving them the opportunity in the kingdom. Okay, so this is we can see in the case of Akbar. Then which are the conflicts in fact Akbar actually faced? See, however, you know, the all Rajputs were actually ready to maintain a friendly relation with the Mughal Empire, and they took up arms. And the states of Ranthambore and Jodhpur refused to accept Akbar's suzerainty. So the strongest opposition came from Uday Singh. You must remember the history. Uday Singh, the Rana of Mewar, and he refused to acknowledge Akbar's supremacy and rejected his proposal of the matrimonial alliance. So here Uday Singh fought the Mughals at Chittor, where he was actually defeated. And after escaping the Mughals, he founded a new capital, Udaipur, and continued to defy the Mughal power. After his death, the rivalry was actually carried forward by his son, Rana Pratap Singh. You must remember about Rana Pratap, who raised an army and faced the Mughals in 1576. See, and in the Battle of Haldighati, you know, Raja Man Singh of Amer, later known as the Jaipur, became the general of the Mughal forces against Rana Pratap. And then Rajputs were actually defeated, and Rana Pratap took shelter in a nearby mountain. But a brave Rajput king never gave up. He continued with his struggle against the Mughals and succeeded in the recovering parts of his kingdom. So it means you can see him how he has been actually succeeded. And then other conquest, you can see that Akbar actually was keep on expanding his territories. So he and Afghans could still manage to retain some power in the eastern part of the country. And then he conquered Gujarat in 1572. Then Akbar's attention was towards the eastern region, and Bengal was conquered between the next 2 years. So between 1585 to 1595, you know, Akbar sent a series of campaigns in northwest India. Kabul, then Kandahar Singh, and eastern Balochistan were actually annexed to his empire. So towards the end of the 16th century, you know, Akbar began to expand the Mughal empire to Deccan, and by the time his authority was actually central over the central and northern in India was almost unchallenged. Then between 1590 and 1601, Akbar actually brought the Deccan kingdoms of Ahmednagar, Berar, and Khandesh, then Mughal control. By the time of his death in 1605 whatever, the Akbar's empire stretched from the Himalayas to the Godavari, and from the Hindu Kush to the Brahmaputra. So here the expansion has been taken place about Akbar. Okay, in my next video I will talk about the Jahangir and followed by Shah Jahan. Okay, so see you. Thank you.